Hey everybody, we're live with Crazy Bitches Talk Show. I'm Loren Molloy and this is my other host, Jess. Say hi, Jess.
Hi, how are you?
How's everybody doing tonight? You having a good time? I know things have been crazy out there. But do you have your drink, by the way? Can you see how cool my cup is? Eat, drink,
Oh,
and be scary.
nice.
Yeah.
What do you have there? It looks fruity.
It's fruity tooty. Oh, yes, that's fruity. No, it's orange juice, lemon seltzer, and I found mango Bacardi. So,
Oh, that is nice. You gotta tell Al. Al's the
mm,
rum guy.
why is all the rum gone? Because Loren drank it all. And
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
wearing my Hatfield shirt because it's already Halloween for me.
Oh, I
So
know. I already started decorating.
I'm like, I'm like, go Hatfield, go
Nice.
Halloween. um, Everybody who's watching right now, I want to remind you to please make sure you go and share around. Make
Yeah.
sure you share the show so everybody can join in. And tomorrow you can also find the show on my YouTube channel. So bit.ly/ Loren Molloy YouTube. For 1 second, I forgot.
Cheers
um,
to that.
right? I'm like, what was the rest of that? Because usually I just copy and paste it. Yeah. So moving right along.
Everybody
All right, how you
comment
doing?
in. We love to see all of that interaction.
Yes, yes. Make sure you comment on the Crazy Bitches page because once you comment, I'll be able to see it and post it on the screen for everybody to read it. That's right, I said it.
It
So
rhymes.
Jess, right? What are you drinking, girl?
Okay, so I am Johnny Walkering it. I don't
Oh,
I don't drink usually I don't drink beer or wine or anything. And just so everybody knows, yeah, I'm drinking out of this big bottle because I don't have a glass. I just started moving my house, so it's very difficult to grab whatever I need in an instant. And this is really the only time I drink. Every Tuesday night when we do this, this is my night. Unless you guys, want to go out or something, but who has time?
and she does not mean on a date. Please remember she is
Oh,
taken, but she means for all her sassy friends out there who want to meet up and have a beverage. Let's
yes.
make word clear. Oh, look, we could get really close. Oh, I feel so much
Oh,
closer to you.
hi.
By the way, tomorrow you'll be able to check the show out. And there's the bit.ly link. Loren Molloy YouTube. Anyway, so you're drinking Johnny Walker, huh?
Yes, I am. I acquired a taste for it when I was young. I worked at a car wash for
At the
about 10
car
years.
wash.
Yeah, oh, it was so much fun. It was back in the day. But my boss was Serbian, and after 2 o'clock, he'd always take a bottle of Johnny out of the desk drawer. And, I was 18 years old and I wasn't going to pass up a drink. And I acquired a taste for it. In particular, I like the way I feel on it. If I drink vodka or fruity drinks or beer, I get like tired and sluggish. This just gives me like that added, I don't know, it gives me some energy, I think.
Yeah, it
And
makes you a
and
little
then I
extra
don't get
like
really
feisty sassy.
I don't get hungover either. I
See,
don't know
that's
if
what
it's
happens with me for Jack. I don't with Jack Daniels. I get the same thing. It's good. I don't. It's like water. You've seen me. I could drink a bottle of that stuff, and I'm like, hey, you give me wine. I'm like, could somebody please put
mm-hmm,
me in bed? I need a
mm-hmm.
blankie. Like,
I feel like I get really like drunk off like 2 beers, but I
I
could
don't
drink
even
like
drink that anymore. That's
I
what
don't know
sucks.
why.
I literally have like a gluten issue with beer that I can't drink it anymore. So
Maybe that's the reason. I'm
I
not
just
sure.
hate it because then I feel like people think I'm like the snobby bitch when I'm not trying to be. I'm like, I'm just trying not to feel like I'm dying for 4 days afterwards
Yeah, my
because, yeah,
stomach's
drinking.
bloated. Yeah, forget it.
So, but yeah, and for the 420 friendly viewers, I am smoking out of my Jack Skellington bowl. That's right. I am a medical marijuana patient and card carrying member in New York, so I'm legally allowed to do this. Actually, I just came back from the dispensary. I tried a new one.
Ooh,
Let's see. I
they're so
tried
much fun.
Columbia Care.
Where
That's
is
right.
that?
This one, oh my God, I'm so sorry you guys can't really see that very well. I swear I am trying.
Looks like a
Um,
vitamin bottle.
right? And it's already ground. This was the weirdest thing. First of all, I did Cure Leaf. I don't know when it was, last week, week before, something like that, because I wanted to try it, and that one was Carl Place, New York. So I go there and it is not what you think. You really think like you're going to walk into a head shop, like it's
I
disjointed.
know.
Did
And
you
then
ever see Disjointed with Kathy Bates on Netflix?
yes, I did.
Oh my God, I love
It's
you.
I wish that that was like that, but it's so like
Yes. Clinical.
sterile. Yeah, when you go in there, it's like there's not a lot of pictures. You can't like choose, oh, I want this and that. It's like there's a menu. And you're like,
Yeah.
all right, well, I'm not really seeing this and you
And
know.
like, this the Cure Leaf one, they had kind of like green little patches you stand on. So I was like, okay, I guess this is like a Soho, Cali kind of vibe. I'm trying to make it okay. And I'm like, okay, thank you for my clinical weed. This is annoying.
I know.
So I just read that Curaleaf is actually in trouble with the DOC right now. Some false report was put in that they didn't put the right measurements or whatever of their ground flower. So they're not allowed to sell it right now.
Oh, that's a toughie.
Yeah, right. So somebody was sabotaging them plenty, and that's bad juju for them. Whoever's trying to shut, Curaleaf down for bullshit. So that's my opinion from some stuff I read from whatever. But also, if you look up Curaleaf, there's literally a post on them explaining they don't do their ground flower; they do everything else still. So anyway, I decided, fuck it, I'll try another place. I tried the Columbia Care, and this one is Riverhead, New York. Completely different. Like you're walking into a doctor's office. I suddenly was like, this bitch wants to be out. Like they had questions where it was like wanting to know all my medical history. And I was like, nah, nigga, you are not a doctor.
And
It's
not
none of
only
your
that, if you
fucking
have your
business.
medical card, then doesn't that just state it for itself?
Right. So you have to bring the piece of paper that they give you. You have to bring the card. You have to do all this stuff, which fine, whatever. I'm good with it. All right. At least it's legal, and I don't have to get in trouble with anybody. Blah. Um, but like then I go in the back and there's like an old couple, and I'm not trying to be shitty, but these are like at least 70 sitting there bitching. Like, oh my God, embarrassed for Caucasians everywhere. This is what we're talking about. There
Damn
is
white people.
fucking A white people. I'm sorry, but like, this is why. Okay, so there's an older man of some other nationality silently sitting there patiently. I'm sitting there now doing Darth Vader breathing, like trying not to lose my mind on this older couple. Like a Karen sitting there, her hair's blonde, and she just keeps, this is ridiculous. And then looks at me. She looks at me. Oh God. Oh, you don't look at me and expect that it's going to go well for you. So now I'm going,
Was she expecting you to agree with her?
oh yeah, I'm sure. Because now he's standing up, like standing in the doorway, staring at, this is ridiculous. And they're getting louder, and I'm starting to do my breathing a little louder. And there's a kid younger than me wearing pants covered in psychedelic mushrooms with a shirt that says fuck off and a hat that had a pineapple on it. I can't make this up. Sitting there, and we're just looking at each other like this couple is out of control. Like, this is ridiculous. These people, and like, they've already been told that they didn't call in an order. They didn't, make an appointment. Their stuff is getting ready, and they're throwing tantrums because the people who did make an appointment and did order ahead of time knew to wait in the parking lot and got told at this time show up. So there's their stuff going in and out. I'm quite capable of handling a few extra minutes. This is 1%er problems. Let's go, people. Like, stop.
Right.
So like, at this point, I am now losing it, Jess, because with my anxiety levels, when somebody has that bad energy and now they're like, well, this is ridiculous. And now they're getting louder. I was 3 seconds away from speaking. I swear, I was like, I'm now counting, and you could see the dudes on either side of me, like, oh fuck, she's counting. I'm like, 1, 2, like, done. So they finally get their shit and leave. The minute they go out the door, I'm like, oh my God. Like, literally. And they just look at me. I'm like, I'm sorry, but are we serious? How come it's always the much older generations? They have zero patience, expect this extra, like, oh, don't you see how old I am? And like, nonsense. Totally rude. Throwing a tantrum at everybody over weed that looks like this. This is stupid. This. Like, I've seen crackheads who handled waiting for like shit better than this elderly couple. Like, and now I'm throwing a tantrum in the place. And I say to everybody, I'm like, I'm sorry I sounded like Darth Vader there for a little while. That couple was outrageous. They were like, oh my God, right? And I looked at the receptionist, secretary, whatever, and I was like, oh my God, I almost lost my mind on her. She's like, all of us this close. And we started talking about the fact that, like, the guy next to me, 50 to 65. I'm not sure. It's hard for me to do numbers, but like a good, closer to their age, sitting calmly, patiently waiting. His wife is in the car with the grandkids. He knows it might be an hour. He's sitting there respectfully. I'm sitting there, me, with my tolerance level, still sitting there silently, patiently. I think it has to be early 20s, and that started making jokes after they left about, like, imagine when it was street deals. You had to wait sometimes 2 or 3 days to hope that the dude would get back to you. I was like, my first answer was like, you have bad dealers. So, like, after I get my meds, because the guy, like, he's like, Loren, I'm so sorry about that. And I was like, okay. I get to the counter, I get my little bag or whatever. This ridiculous. I leave, and then I turn around and I'm like, oh, before I leave, I'm like, you guys like weed, so look out for The Devil's Lettuce, the movie. Look for it on Facebook.
Nice.
I'm the director and producer. You could get a producer credit with our Indiegogo campaign, so look for the page. I'm out.
Good. You put it out there. They're going to remember that name.
Right? So the link is on the bottom of the page, shameless plug, but we only have less than 2 weeks for the campaign right now, and then we're not doing the same campaign again for the same prices. You can get a thank you IMDb credit, an associate producer credit, or a producer credit, all for $25 to $100. And it goes on the IMDb page. It'll go on, the credits in the film. And it's a fantastic deal for, supporting an indie horror film that's made by women. And, you also get a credit on IMDb that, can help you add to that, be like, hey, I already got a producer credit, and it helps out. So a lot of people think that it's a really fun thing, and it's a great way to support while you're still getting something, Yeah. So the link is on the bottom. We start filming in 2 weeks. Jess will be in the movie. That's right. Yes. No official announcements yet, but if you watch this episode, you now have a sneak little secret.
Yeah.
And so let's smoke to that.
I was getting major interference. And when I moved on to this property, now it's so, I'm like really, really like, I'm really wigged out right now. Okay. So I was just getting like crazy interference and you didn't hear it. So I was like, uh-oh, when's this going to stop? So on this property, there was a diner that burned to the ground. People were in it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you hear anything, if anybody sees anything, like, let me know, because I'm like, I'm a little freaked out right now, considering usually interference happens on your end.
Well, right? Well, fuck you. Now you got me looking all weird. Like, I
No,
don't even.
I was like, it was like I heard like a cartoon going on. It was weird, and then I was like trying to figure out like if the Wi-Fi was picking up on something, but then I was thinking, what if there's something in this church? Okay, so I'm sitting on the deck of a church right now.
Oh my God, that's
And
amazing.
the people that own the property redid the church and they rent it out. It sleeps about 14, and it's a beautifully done. But I'm having like, I'm starting to think like maybe there's stuff going on in the church right now. Nobody's in there, and it's like interfering with what's going on here. And
It's very possible.
I have to walk over. I have to walk back over to my cabin at the end, and this is dark as hell.
And you're gonna be so tipsy.
Oh my gosh, yeah, thank God. I gotta get this stuff's gotta start working. I didn't drink in 1 week. So let's go, guys. Let's get it going.
That, and then I'm gonna tell you another secret. So
better not freak me out because it's dark over here.
By the way, my straw matches my shirt. Hatfield. Okay, so that's not my secret. Actually, me, Tina Brown, Cynthia Brown, Cammie Brown, and David Brown are all going to be doing a paranormal show coming up. where we do investigations and check out locations to see what we can find, see, feel, and then we'll be working on season 1 coming this September. So right
That's
after we start
awesome.
filming The Devil's Lettuce, we'll be working on episodes for that show. And you and I are going to have to talk because I already want to be there and do an episode on that property where you are.
I'm wondering. Oh no, you're gonna get me all freaked out. I'm gonna live here for at least 6 months to a
Oh my
year.
God, that's like a dream for me. My immediate reaction is like, you want to switch? You don't want to
And
switch,
you
but
know what?
like,
Everything's brand spanking new, and
yeah.
it's just deceiving, you know. And I keep, while I'm, unpacking and stuff, I keep seeing things at the corner of my eyes, and I know that that is like a key thing where people start to see things. I had all the windows open my first night, and it sounded like somebody took like a rake or something with multiple prongs on it and was hitting the trees outside. My man's like, oh, it's probably a deer, messing with his antlers. And
I
I'm
mean, it
like,
could
but
be.
it sounded like something crashing down and I could see nothing.
It could
So,
be a
like,
raccoon that fell out of a fucking
it
tree,
was so
honestly.
loud. So
Yeah,
now that I'm putting all of this together with the interference and the eerie feeling and
totally. Oh, I heard that.
what if I'm really on that was like one of my biggest things, like, but you can't like ask a landlord like, is there history of hauntings, like, would they even tell you? But that was one of the biggest things. I was like, I do not want to be in a haunted place. I watch the shows,
Manifested it. You
people
fucking
get like,
manifested. Can we discuss? Didn't we discuss you don't use the word not? So I don't want to live in a haunted house. The universe doesn't hear the word don't. We've talked about.
that's true. Oh, I heard that, motherfucker. I set myself up.
Okay,
I
but also, so welcome to being on one of the episodes, bitch, because I'm going to talk to your landlord and be like, hi, hi.
Yeah, ask him, because would he, I
I may
don't
make
know.
She's
I'm
awesome.
sure the publicity would be, they're really trying to get
Oh, yeah?
rentals, yeah, going.
All right, so I'll talk to
So
him. We'll talk about it.
people would like sign up just to be here for that
Fuck yeah.
specifically. People are always like, "Oh, I want to spend a night in a haunted hotel." Like,
Hmm.
yeah, until you happen.
No, I've done it. It's fun.
Ah!
Then again, it's never on purpose. It's always like, there was one time, where did I stay? Oh, the Hawthorne Hotel in
I've
Salem,
heard of it.
Massachusetts.
I've heard of it.
People say it's like one of the most haunted places in Salem, or at least I think they do. Don't quote me, but it's supposedly really haunted. I had to do a convention there, Salem Con, something like that. Um, yeah. Anyway, so when I get to this hotel, I take like a video, and I'm like, I had to teach my mom how to do like the video timing, the face chatting, all that stuff, so like I can keep in touch with her when I live in other states. So like all of a sudden I was like, ma, wait, literally, yo, it looked like a combination of The Shining and 1408. I literally just kept waiting to hear the tricycle sound, to hear the come play with us. And the
No, thank
room was
you.
like a broom closet. If you opened the door, you couldn't also then open the bathroom door at the same time. Like I couldn't get the baggage cart into the room without climbing onto the baggage cart, onto my luggage, onto the bed, tucked and rolled, and then I was like, haha. And the bathroom was like this small. The shower was separate. When I closed the door, I literally took like a picture of it for my mom. I closed the door and I'm like, oh, this is tight. She's like, nope. Like total claustrophobia for her. She's like, I'm not
Oh,
talking to you.
absolutely.
So like, and I kept in that little room I was in. I kept waiting for that moment from like 1408 where the maintenance guy is just on the outside of the door. No, I'm not coming in. You just got to tap the thing because like the thermostat
Oh,
wasn't working there. So literally, it's like blasting with heat. The windows are sealed shut, and I'm like, I'm gonna die in Salem trying to just do a con. Like
oh
what?
man.
Yeah, it was bad. Nothing happened for me in the room and any of that kind of thing. But then again, I'm not in the room long. If I am, I'm usually unconscious. I
That's
got
always a good
3 hours,
way to
break
be.
them out.
Yeah, right. No, I feel you.
Oh, but yeah, yo, I totally already want to be like at your place. I'm gonna
Oh,
come visit when you don't know. I'm just
yes.
gonna.
It's beautiful here. It really is. There's three man-made lakes and they are stocked with fish for fishing. There's a rowboat and a little couples like foot paddle. thing, and
Oh, those are
those are for
exhausting.
it's for the rentals because there's like weekly rental or day rental properties.
Yeah.
But then there's a section where there's
Those
long-term
freaking
rentals.
rowboats are exhausting, though. I thought those were
Yeah.
going to be so much fun until all of a sudden I'm like, you didn't
Wait,
tell
I
me
gotta work so much.
exercise on water. It's fucking
Hurry up.
exercise on water. Fuck all y'all. This ain't romantic. I'm hot. I'm sweaty. I'm
Yeah.
pissed.
It's
There's
like I
people
got
faster.
yeah.
I just want to go home. Sorry. Maybe somebody says it, I'm like, trauma story. No, don't ever make me do paddle
Oh,
boats again.
yeah.
No,
If
nothing
men does
bad.
the work, then
Yeah, but like the time I went, it was like me and my dad, and he was too drunk, so he couldn't get it together. So it was just like little old me. And I'm like,
oh no,
land.
no.
Yeah, all the stories about my father are basically he was way too intoxicated to be like acceptable.
Oh no.
But like so, there's moments where like one day I'll try that again, and somebody's like, "You want to go paddle? Fuck off."
Mm-mm.
I'll sit here.
I already
You
have my
do.
story. That's all I needed. Just one story. Thank you.
I don't ever want to do that again. I saw it was
Mhm.
exercise. It's a lie. It's not romantic. It's
Yeah.
like going on the carriage ride and realize you're the one pulling the carriage.
Oh, so what I was thinking about last time.
Oh
So
yeah.
you were saying that you made a comment. I said that I had my chart read, right? And you kind of made a reference to like, oh, almost like I shouldn't do it, or
What are you
was
talking
that
about?
impression wrong?
I don't know what you're talking about.
So like
My
my
part?
chart
Chart. Oh,
chart,
oh, oh.
yeah.
You can
So
have your chart read for sure.
yeah. So
That's fine.
when I said that I got it done, you were almost like, so is there a specific way that it needs to be done, or the way that
Oh,
you is
my
what?
reaction to it.
Yeah, your reaction to it was kind of like
Oh
that I
no.
shouldn't have. Yeah, yeah, almost like I should be wary of
Uh,
getting it done.
no, what it is sometimes is it's fine when they're doing your chart or they're reading your chart. It's when they're claiming it's going to be a different kind of reading and all they're doing is reading your chart. It's like saying, I'm going to give you a life reading and all they're doing is giving you your numerology report. Like
Okay.
that's where the hindrance is. And that's why like the only time I ever go is only when they're trying to claim it's going to be like more than it is. Knowing what your chart is and having your chart read could be great. Also, I always believe as long as you're open to understanding that their interpretation sometimes might not hit home, but might trigger understanding for you, then it's always great as long as they're not. That's my problem. Every once in a while there'll be one that pops up where they'll be like, here's an entire life reading and da 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 da, and I'm literally listening to them have the numerology report memorized because I'm like, oh yeah, no, that was page 7. Like
Yeah, yeah. Oh, or
that's where I am with it, where they're like, that's $150. I'm like, no, 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 no.
or you walk in and they're like, "What sign are you?" And you'll tell them your sign, and then they'll start telling you about you.
Hmm.
I mean, like, you're just memorizing this from a astrology book. I already know that. It's
Yeah,
like you don't like
exactly.
don't try and pull it that way. I didn't come here to learn more about my sign because I already know.
Right?
So, yeah, okay. So I was just wondering if I should be wary of that because I was
Yeah.
actually putting stock in it.
Oh yeah, no, and I think you should. My only hindrance is, like I said, is also if somebody is only telling. Okay, so my sun sign is Libra. Normally, what people say is, "What is your sign?" And I have to say Libra. Now that's the only
But
one
you're
that
so bold.
but it's also because my rising sign is Capricorn and my moon sign is Taurus. Now, nobody really talks about their entire chart, like where their Venus
But
is,
it's
where,
so important about the whole rising and yeah.
yes. So, because I have two signs that are both earth signs, and because my moon sign happens to be Taurus, I'm able to be more bold because the Libra part technically is the part that always will make sure
It's
that
bad.
everything I do is justice and balance. Yes. So like that's why I'm always Switzerland. Like people might break up and I might stay friends with both of them. That doesn't mean I'm talking shit on either side. That means it is just as right. I made friends with both of you at the same time. Unless one of them was totally shitty, then I'll look at them and be like, you were shitty. But because I have the bull and the ram, plus, Libra balance, the Libra kind of balances both of those out in a way. But it's all fucked up because I'm a crazy bitch. So no matter what.
Oh, I know. And I have, I just
Alfred said that's what she said.
Hi, baby.
Where your Venus is.
Yep. It's right here, baby.
And by the way, I stopped myself right after that because I was like, because I was going to say, and where your Uranus is, because I'll never be mature enough.
Oh, come on. That's all right. We don't need to be. Not tonight. Not tonight. This is like my release. This is where I'm just going to talk. I don't care what people think.
I think it's kind of crazy. You're sitting on a church talking to Minister Molloy.
Minister Molloy, please, when I get married one day. Oh, and you could do it on this property. We'll have a haunted wedding.
Shut up, that's awesome. I'm actually doing a wedding on Halloween for someone, and it's a horror costume themed wedding, and I'm going to be the nun for them. So
yes, like that nun.
Yep, they asked me to.
Wait, how did I even say? Wait, what is it? What is in the movie? What's the movie?
The Nun, The Conjuring.
The Conjuring nun. Yeah. Is that who you're going to be? Okay, good.
Yeah. Some people like a Venus in Uranus. Al is awesome. Al was on the Let's Party with Loren talk show. Make sure you look at season 1. That's up. There's a marathon running that's replaying on the channel. He's also going to be in The Devil's Lettuce, so you'll have to look for that. And his skateboard company, Collab Skateboards, will be featured in the movie as well in one place or another.
I'm so proud of you.
Yay, Al. Call me Al. Anyway,
I love that song.
I love that song too. With the so anyway, I could sing that whole song. Let's stop myself in time. But I think it's interesting. You're sitting on a roof and you're talking to somebody who is ordained that does weddings and clearings and will be doing paranormal. I actually did my first cleanse and clear video with prayers, protective energy sent through in a kind of universal energy way, as well as using white sage that I was given to by a shaman, actually. So I put that up on my YouTube channel, and, I hope it helps some people, at some point, just, look at it and see, because it might help. Let me know how it feels for you. But the universe was really hostile about making me do it. It was like, oh, good, I don't need to put clothing. Okay, I'll just video it. So they wanted me to do that. And I was and I had to put Minister Molloy. That's one of those weird things when you get to a certain level of working through all your spirituality and whatever else and abilities. At this point, I'm well aware of when they're demanding something must be done. There is nothing else. When I send you videos, I literally have to pause the video I'm watching and send it to you, because I'll hear in my head, that has to go to Jess. That has to go to Jess.
Oh, thank you.
So that's why sometimes people will get random weird messages. I haven't talked to that bitch in 6 months. I'm sorry. They made me send this to you.
That's awesome.
But at some point, the person might look at it or, even find it in their messages years later, whenever it's supposed to be, because that's how the universe works. It's there for when you're meant to look at it. So it's not pressure, but more when you need the tools, it's there for you, So yes. That's why it's weird to say Minister Molloy, but literally I was going to tell you that story tonight, and you're sitting on the roof of a church.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool.
All right. So then tell me this story. More about it.
I think I need to start doing more of that kind of stuff. We'll see. If people like it and they want more kind of spiritual cleansing conversations, whatever, because I do that for a living too. Most people don't know that a lot, because the people that are meant to come to me usually will write me or, hit me up and be like, I don't know why I'm asking you, but I can't help myself and I need to tell you this story or this problem, whatever. And I have, help information, whatever, healings, blessings, whatever for them. Because that's what the universe kind of put in front of them. And now they're being like, I don't give a fuck. You need to walk the talk, bitch. So I'm like, hi, I'm Minister Molloy. They're like, that's not your name. I'm like, fine. My
That's
friend,
my
my
baby version.
right. I was like, this is a boy. I don't wanna. And it's just because, like, okay, so when I was in high school, I was forced to take one of those career tests, and the categories I got, they claimed were only for men. I got war general,
Oh, nice.
priest, and the other one was psychiatrist or something like that. It was another weird, like, no, it wasn't. I don't know what the third one was, but it was definitely those first two. And I was like, and he's like, well, this is weird because the only jobs that they are giving you are jobs that only men do. And I was like, so I don't know if I became like ordained just for the sheer fact of like, I know it's not exactly the same, but like,
It is. Well, now it's acceptable, you
right?
know? So I guess back in the day, I don't know when you took that test,
I
but
don't know.
typically men, right?
Yeah, it said priest. No, not nun. It said fucking
Oh, oh,
priest.
oh, oh. Well, I figure minister
Girl.
now. Minister is
Same
both,
thing.
right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think Reverend is too. There's a bunch of them, but it's just one of those like weird. And when I told certain family members, they were just like, "You?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know. It's
Why?
crazy
Why were they surprised?
because of all the horror stuff I do. You know, when I
Yeah, but you're like helping people. Do they know about your abilities?
a lot of people don't believe in it, so they just think that I need more medication to fix the
We're
sanity
because
issues I.
that makes sense.
Well, that's how I got put on meds in the first place. They told me none of that was real. It's magical thinking, so I must be bipolar, not that I can
Magic.
actually see ghosts or anything else.
I
So
mean,
they tried to
there
put
is
me
a fine line, but I feel like most of the time it's somebody that's just intuitive learning about their experiences because or their I'm sorry, their abilities. And that's unfortunate because those medicines
Mhm.
subside or subside or subsued or
Well, that works
okay. Either way, make those feelings and happenings not happen.
for sure.
And yeah.
Oh, there we go. I can see you better now.
I know,
I'm
but I'm so
too close.
grainy.
I know,
I
but
can
like at least now, like I'm not super close. I feel like it's a little more even. I'm all in everybody's face, and now at least I can see you. Um, but you know, you're right about that, and I think it's one of those things. Like for me, a lot of the meds that they put me on, claiming it was for something it really wasn't, um, actually caused the portal or whatever you'd want to say to be open way too much. So I was having
Mhm.
more issues. And then once I cleared all that meds out of my system, I was doing much better. So now, it's all a work in progress, I guess. But
Yeah, you know what? I have to say, I was on medications myself for a number of years, and it was brought on because I had a fear of dying when I was in my early 20s, like 19, 20, 21. And I said this on last week about how eventually I found out in my last life I had died at that age, and that was the reason why I was
right.
having that anxiety in this time.
Oh yeah, we
But
were
I
talking
still had
about that.
right. So now I'm off of all those medications and the pituitary. Oh, what is it? I'm so sorry. Pineal gland.
Yeah, pineal, whatever
Is
it
it
is.
pineal or is it's pineal? I don't know. I
I,
hear it
I
in so many ways. Um,
that's why I'm like tomato, tomato. People
yeah,
will
I
always
know.
no matter
So
what.
so it's the gland that
Yep.
that helps you with your intuitive nature and things.
Pineal, yeah.
Yeah. So I've, took fluoride out of my diet and I stopped
Good.
taking meds and things are becoming clearer and I find myself crying at the drop of a hat now. And I just, sometimes I feel
That's
like
okay.
these feelings aren't mine.
They aren't.
And, I know, and it's really hard to navigate when you're not when you're numb for most of your life where you're trying to figure those things out. And now that I'm older, I'm thinking, am I going through the changes really early or is my nature coming back to me?
Your nature is coming back to you.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's why we talk about this stuff. That's
Yeah, and this
like,
is why it's my favorite subject because right now I'm in the process of learning more and more about it and about myself when I'm hearing things from you. So that's
yeah.
why I like to know more and more about that part of your life because and I feel bad because the these are supposed to be like crazy conversations, and I always try to gear it towards more information.
I'm fine with that.
Okay,
They're
good.
all, I
Because
mean,
I'm
some
not
people
trying
are
to
crazy
like,
topics. Some people will find these topics either unacceptable or, problematic, or, they can't handle them or whatever. And those are why there's a group of us that are crazy bitches, and it doesn't matter about gender or not gender. It's literally, we all had crazy shit happen in our lives, which make us look at topics that most people would find abnormal, crazy,
right, right.
whatever. And we look at it and go, okay, I can see how that makes sense, because we have a more faceted perspective than others who didn't have to deal with a lot of the stuff that anybody who's interested in these topics usually have gone through. Like, there's no way you had a squeaky clean, perfect, no issue childhood. First of all, nobody can say that. I don't give a fuck. They could lie,
I
but
know, I know,
um,
I know, I
but
know.
the level of difference of, darkness versus light, etc., whatever, everybody's got something. Everybody's gone through stuff, but some people have gone through much more darker topics quicker in the formative years in a lot of ways, so that, like, you're looking for answers to stuff that other people wouldn't even know or a thing. And that's why I like talking about all this stuff, because some people might be like, I would have never thought of that ever in my life, and now they can go, oh, look, somebody else might actually have that perspective. Like,
Yes,
too many people have too much of a narrow focus where it's like, this is the only way, and it's like,
right,
okay, but
right.
like, if you say, Roy G. Biv is the only thing that exists, then how do you explain ultraviolet? Let's discuss.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My whole thing was when I was in high school, I just wasn't content with Catholicism. I went to Catholic school, and that was what I was brought up on. And believe
That
me,
would do it.
I believe in a higher power because it speaks to me. It's shown
Mm-hmm.
me its presence and
Yeah.
in my life. So then I went into college, and I studied world religion, and that was my first footsteps into understanding, you know, the um, the world beyond,
Mm-hmm.
because I understood then all of these religions had the same basis. They just had different politics based on where they were in the world, and you know, uh, it made more sense in understanding what might be right,
Yeah.
because how could so many of them believe in the same things?
Mm-hmm.
They're the same basis.
Yeah. No,
Being
I
a good
get that.
person and you'll be rewarded, or following, you're following your intuition and it working out. So that's where I started, and now I'm branching out
Good.
and reading more about it. So
I'm so proud of you.
yeah, oh,
It's true, and I think it's
but
another
getting to know
thing.
you more is having, because you naturally have these and you're aware of them and you understand them. These are things that I still don't understand, that I need to trust myself about.
Yeah. And it's also, a lot of that stuff, I feel like I learned when I was really young, but I also kind of came into this world with a more fiery nature in a way, because I was a real little kid. And all right, so one of the reasons that I believe in God and a higher power and like somebody kind of like watching over everything, I also believe that we have a light side and a dark side. So somebody watching over everything, somebody that's watching off for all the good and has all sorts of workers, whatever, etc., as well as the dark side of it, same shit, of course. Anyway, so but when I was a little kid, I was highly allergic to every single item in the entire planet. It was literally, my body was rebelling against the human Earth. It was like, nope. So I was allergic to dust, every single type of animal, every single kind of dander, and I was miserable. I wanted a dog. I couldn't stand that I couldn't have one. I'm in elementary school thinking about killing myself because I couldn't have a dog. Like,
Oh
that's
my
bad.
gosh, it's such a young
Oh yeah,
age.
and I that's why I always talk to little kids about it, because I could see the signs that pop up. Like, and I think it's also when you get like a lot of spiritual stuff in, because I told you in a previous episode where I was a real little kid seeing stuff in my room that was trying to fuck with me. So like there was always stuff going on where I nobody believed me, and it was like, all right, one day when I'm an adult, somebody's going to believe me. I don't know why I had those thoughts, but like,
The veil between Earth and the other side
yeah,
is
so thin.
becoming, yeah, it's becoming
So,
thin
you
and it's
know,
accepted now, you
yeah,
know.
and when I was a little kid, I was so upset that I couldn't have a dog that I wanted to end it or whatever. So I go outside to the lawn and I look up at the sky and I go, all right, God, here's the deal. You make me not be allergic to dogs, and I'll be a soldier of God for the
There
rest of my
you
life,
go.
and nothing will
I'm
ever
gonna
change my
become
mind.
Minister Mala.
I'm like, or you won't, and I'll work for the other guy, and there's nothing that you're going to be able to
Ooh,
change about it. I said,
ultimatum,
it's up to you. I said, I want to work for
girlfriend.
you, but I need you to prove that there's a reason that I should
There
even
you
be
go.
here.
Hey,
So 3 weeks later, 6 weeks later, because it takes a while to get another appointment, I had to go for one of those where
what
they
do you
cover
mean
your
an
back.
appointment for God?
Okay, right? No, right? That'd be amazing. I would do it. I'd wait.
Check
They
that
You
off.
have to go to an allergist, and they put this little like test of every single type of allergen on your back. So all these little raised itchy spots. They did that a month before that, and dogs and everything I was still allergic to. So I had forced my mom to remake an appointment because I was sure God was on my side. So we make
Oh,
this next appointment,
the
and
faith.
I go, and the only thing I'm not allergic to is dogs, to the point where
Shut
the
up.
doctor freaked out. He's like, it's not possible. It's not possible. He just looked at my mother and he goes, it's not possible.
We got to do this again.
Literally, they made me do it again. They flipped me over
Oh,
and did it on my stomach.
so
And same thing.
you're like this.
I'm like, fuck it, go ahead. I know. I'm like, Mom, what kind
Man,
of
they're
dog
so
is
itchy. I had so many tattoos on my back. They did it on my arm, thank God.
I'm telling you, I didn't care. It was like, Mom, what kind of dog we're getting? She's like, it's not done yet. I'm like, nah, the back was the proof. And I looked up, and
Yeah,
up to God, I went, you got it, bro. Like, literally, like,
that's
soldier for
awesome.
God. I was like 10 years old.
That's awesome.
So, like, when anybody tries to say that I'm ever like working for the other side of stuff, I always giggle. I'm like, oh boy, something's talking wrong in your ear if you're gonna think I'm the bad guy.
Yeah,
Oh,
that makes me feel really sad that people, just because you're into horror, would think that you're into all that other stuff. I mean, it's just interest. People like to be like to rise, you know. We like so whether people want to admit it or not. There's something about that roller coaster
mm-hmm.
that is appealing. And I thought for a while being even keeled, but come on, that's boring. If you're just like, we need a horror movie, we need a comedy, we need something that just makes it a little extra every
Yeah,
once in a while.
you need the
You need
distraction.
that rise.
Yeah, you need that kind of stuff. And like also what a lot of people don't understand, because nobody wants to get an education, they just want to run their mouth, is
Right? They
you know,
everybody that knows a little bit about something likes to run their mouth about what they know. You're like, well, did
and
you
even
do
if
this
they know nothing, they just heard somebody else say it, so it must be true. And if they talk
recently?
really loud,
Right. Or
uh,
they read the first thing they found on the internet. They'll put something in the search engine and they'll
right,
read the first one
no,
and
right.
then tell everybody about it.
But like, so it's always craziness with that stuff. And it's problematic because like what people don't understand with the horror community is, yes, you got some wackos where, no matter what, they're going to be some type of psychopath, serial killer, whatever. There's nothing you could do. It doesn't matter if they're watching shows about unicorns or shows about mutilation. That's always going to be their personality.
Yeah.
But for most of the horror community, even Wes Craven said it, when somebody who watches horror literally it has, in a way, and I'm paraphrasing horribly the Wes Craven because I'm using my own point in there as well, but you're literally able to handle more of your fears, your darknesses, your etceteras of that nature, because like we all that love horror have some horror stories in our past, whether you want to agree mine was a horror story or vice versa. We had some darkness that happened, so now we're interested in that darkness because it was more like, why the fuck did that happen? Hold on, there was darkness. What the fuck? You don't want to talk about it? I'll watch this movie. Oh, look, darkness. I'll watch that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we're
Therapeutic in
confronted.
a way.
Yes, exactly. And that's one of the things Wes Craven had said, and I'm not going to try to say what his quote was, but look it up yourselves because it's a good one. But quite literally, we're able to, handle the phobias, the fears to a certain extent, deal with them in a way where, we're able to handle where somebody else will never go near that stuff because they can't deal with the fears inside. So that
Or their
quite
belief system doesn't allow.
exactly. But there also means that, there's quite literally stuff that they're not dealing with, which makes them always going to be of an unhealthier nature. It doesn't matter if they're crying and only like dramas or only watch comedy. That doesn't make you a healthier person. That can make you actually be not sicker, but in a way, like if you need
Yeah,
to
if you
only
keep that shit inside, girlfriend, you're gonna be sick. Get
right?
it out. Get
And
it
that's
out.
one thing. So a lot of the people that enjoy horror, it has nothing to do with like Satan. Dr. Satan.
No, it doesn't.
It literally has to do with like fucked up shit happened to me. I watch this where it gives me a comfort level, b a distraction level, and then I come back to my own reality, and then yeah, that wound's still inside, that sad energy, that heart energy, whatever. But I got a little bit of time where something more fucked up happened on that screen, then I don't even have to
I
think
was
about
just
my
gonna
shit.
say, it makes you feel better about your life in a way.
Which is
That's
why I
why
do horror.
that's why people love dramas because it goes up and down and you're like, just like anybody else's life. You know that it's temporary. You see it in the movie. It's good, it's good, it's good. Oh, someone tries to like F with it and then it ends, in a
Yeah,
decent way that maybe it's either neutral or in a good way. And you're like, all right, life is going to be okay. I
yeah,
see that the troubles are there. I see that the good times are there. And I see this ending. It's not so bad. So,
yes.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, and that's why I, predominantly only do horror stuff. I don't see me being able to do comedy in a way that would, I'd want to watch it anyway. Yeah, I could be funny, but I don't watch a lot of comedy movies versus horror. Yeah, I watch them. I post all sorts of stuff. I just watched My Cousin Vinny. I love that movie. You think that, do you care what kind of pants you're wearing? Um, but other than that, I make all sorts of horror stuff surely for the fact of like it's comforting in a way. It's a distraction for all of us, and one of the reasons I do weird twists at the end is because I don't want to leave a comfort zone feeling. You know how Yield ended.
Uh, I also feel that a lot of whatever we create comes from however comfortable we are with coping with. Did you freeze? Because I
No,
froze. Oh,
you're
okay.
good.
All right.
I'll the two youths. So I went. Ah.
Oh,
He
the
wrote
two you. Oh, yeah. I saw your post about my cousin Vinny too. The two yotes.
well, did you say youths? I'm done with
Oh
this guy.
man, come on. That is like the I don't know why it's so great. It just friggin's great. Anyway, so how we are with coping with our horrors or traumas or whatnot, people find it easier to be comedic, and I can't relate to that. If all the horrors in my life are therapy is finding more about that subject, horror or hurt. Um,
What do you
I
mean?
went, okay, so, like comedians, they
Yeah.
had, they had some people like Bill Burr, love him. Oh, he's so freaking funny. He had a lot of crap going on when he was a kid, and he goes and does stand up about that shit, and
Right.
it's fucking
You
funny.
can't do that?
Say again.
What did you say? You can't do that though? Is that what you
So,
had?
so as far as my creative outlet, like
Okay.
I went to school for psychology. Even when I was a kid, I was 5 years old. My father asked me what I wanted to do when I was growing up, and I said I wanted to be a meteorologist. And he
Oh my
said,
god, me
"Why?
too.
Why do you want to be a meteorologist?" I said, "Because nothing is scarier than nature because you can't, it's unpredictable." I didn't say unpredictable as a young kid. I probably didn't even know what that meant, but that's basically what it was. And then I ended up going to college and graduated with a forensic psychology degree
Oh,
because
it's okay.
nothing is scarier than a psychopath or someone who commits murder because of traumas that they had. Their psyche is messed up. Nothing is more fascinating to me. And why is that? Because I had some major traumas when I was a young kid. I my parents, you know they were good people, and and I love them to death. But whatever. So my
Yeah,
family life was a bit traumatic, and I went into the field of psychology to figure that out. And
that's what I did.
I
Same
watch horror movies because I feel like you said before, my life is not as bad as that, but that is helping me understand the way of the world and that things that happened in my life are okay.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah. So like I was saying before, my creative outlet went in that direction versus comedy. I wish somebody would say something and tell us what they mean, what they feel as far as their traumatic events and their outlet being comedic. I would love to understand it.
um, that's awesome.
So type
But
something, guys. Type
yeah,
something.
right.
We gotta.
Um, it's interesting though because you're right. I think we all have different ways that we handle it. Like I make too many jokes sometimes because I know like it's the only way that I used to be able to like make people stop trying to kill each other would be like and as long as I got
Alfred,
them to like
my Alfred, the one that was typing before. I feel that that is the same way. He is a pro at making light of all the situations.
yeah, he just wrote, "What is weirdo
What?
that lives in their basement playing with dead things?" Oh wait, this
I
isn't just.
dated one of those. I dated one of those. They're very scary. I got out alive. I probably wouldn't have if I stayed any longer. What about those people? Those people don't talk about it. They keep it inside and then they stay home and do that stuff on their own. Which, hey,
Very
listen,
cool.
listen, if they don't bring it on the outside and they just deal with it in their own basement, that is better than affecting others. So that's their way of coping, and I accept that.
They do, though, need to air out their basements often. Sometimes you have to call them and be like, "Dude, did you air out and clear out your basement with the dead thing?"
Usually it smells of formaldehyde or what is that? Um, yeah,
Dead body
what?
corpses? Oh, you're
No,
maybe
it's
a
whatever
little
the
different than mine.
preservative is. That's what
Formaldehyde.
your basement smells.
You and I have different kind of friends.
Well, okay, so I was in.
You're not in court
Hey,
still. You might
listen.
want to get out of the basement.
The
Like,
only reason why you met me is because I was doing that stuff. I was putting together skeletons and I was at
taxidermist.
taxidermy. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
you had to
Not
do you
corpses.
had to do something with it before it became bone.
Oh, yeah, you do.
I mean, there are flesh-eating beetles, which is the clean way to do it, but some people just didn't want to maintain that kind of uh mess, I suppose. So they would just put that shit in a bucket outside their door.
Sweetheart, I know what you're talking about, absolutely. And yours was much tamer than the people I used to have to check in on. Because yours, you're talking about animals.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh,
me,
why
you're
would
talking
I?
about like there's like a bucket of formaldehyde stinking in your outside your room. Like, could you maybe get rid of that? It's like
Hydrochloric acid.
I'm
It's
going, hey, you really shouldn't have brought that in. That's now smelling and decomposing. You probably need
no,
to bring
thank
that to the
you.
butcher. Um,
As we
just kidding.
speak,
No, just kidding.
there is a spider making a web on my computer because it is the only light source here. There's all these gnats, and I see this little spider just chilling. Ah, what a walk back this is gonna be. Ah, I got bit. I got bit on the side of my face
Oh no.
by a big old spider that I met today.
Oh fuck no.
Yeah, I put it outside, but it didn't listen very well. It charged me.
Say no. You know what you should do is you should go live after we're done, and you have to do your walk back. Yep.
How
You
do
did.
I how do I do live? I'm so embarrassed to do live because I am
Okay.
like
So just
the
take a video.
clumsiest human being. I will stutter. Sometimes my brain doesn't work and I'll like say words or that don't make sense.
That's
I don't
okay.
know.
What you can do instead is just put it on video mode on your cell phone and
Uh-huh.
record your walk with the light on. That way, at least also
And you
like
know what? I might not see what's
this is
going on.
evidence.
but my camera will pick up what's going
Yes,
on.
exactly. And for all women, I always say that kind of thing because the worst that happens is at least there's some geo-tracking video evidence of your last location.
It is about 1,000 feet.
I mean,
I
it's
don't.
not that far, but like that's one
It's
of
not
those
that
little
far.
like survival techniques I tell women to do all the time. People think I'm crazy, but like how I
No,
found
that's a good one.
people
Thank you.
was like, oh, I was able to get into, because of whoever also knew the password. Okay, I was able to get into Google Pictures, not looking at that. There's the last video that uploaded. Okay, that says such and such a forest. Okay, there she is. That was
I
my
gotta put location on my phone.
I mean, it literally does it whether you like it or not when you're taking video. Don't worry about
Oh,
it.
okay. All
Once
right.
it saves, usually it'll have some kind of either cloud or Google or whatever. Everybody has some different ones, whatever. But like no matter what, there's some storage where it has
Thank
location
God.
to your phone. Your GPS is always on your phone, even when you like airplane mode might take it off, but I still say that's bullshit. So no matter what, as long as you're taking a picture or a video, um, okay, this is hilarious. Alfred wrote, "She's going to trip and fall in the pond, lol."
I was just gonna say, you guys are gonna find my bloated ass carcass in one of these
It'll be a video of her
with
going,
a bottle of
"Oh,
Johnny, just be like,
no!"
the bottle of Johnny will be above the water. Be like, I saved it.
I love you so
Just
much for that
rigor
laugh.
mortis. Be like,
Rigor mortis. By the way, I went to college for psychology as well. I was going to finish with forensic psychologist because I wanted to do the whole like actual like Clarice, but not.
yes,
And then I went to
profiling.
yeah, and then I went to a party. Not going to discuss those details, but I met a woman who literally did the entire course, went to the FBI training, whatever thing. Turns out they only let in 40 to even bother taking the test. You also have to pass the physical, and then they only take one. And then after all of that, the rest of those fuckers have all of those student loans and everything, and she knows two
Adam.
people that work at Walmart.
Yep. Now I'm a baker. But I have to say, the reason why I didn't go in is because when I started my field work, I had to go to these scenes,
Yeah.
basically. And the smell of dead body is so unreal.
Most people have
I
no
will
idea
never be able to, I'll never be able to
that out of your
get
head.
through that. No. So I started to have to, I had to put some walls up while I was doing my field work so that I could graduate. And I realized that this was becoming norm. And I didn't know if I was going to have children one day. And I realized that I wouldn't let my children out of the house if I knew anything further or if this
Yeah.
was what was going on. So once I smelled that body, it kind of made me realize, and the body was of a homeless man who wasn't found for days. And when the people took him, there was something called slippage on
Mm-hmm.
the skin.
Yep.
And slippage is when it separates from, yep. And when you pick them up, their skin literally slips off of the muscle, everything,
Right off
and
the bone.
right off the bone. And it was quite an experience for me. And that was a turning point. I decided to graduate. And then I decided I needed a break before my master's. And that's when I learned baking.
Yeah.
So, A Sweet Discovery, guys, is my page on Instagram. Check it out. That's what I do for a living now. And I wouldn't take it any other way. I'm glad that I have an education and I'm glad to have experienced what I experienced. But that is not for me.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Yeah, for sure. The most I can say on the topic is I completely feel for you because I know exactly what you're talking about it, but it's not from the same legal perspective, and let's just move right along.
Why? Girlfriend, you can't just say that.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to get in trouble. So then we'll just do that offline. God, you're missing out on a great story, I bet.
I put the link up for Jess's Bake Shop, A Sweet Discovery on Facebook. So that link is in the comments section. Feel free to lick. I don't mean lick.
You can like.
cake. I want to lick icing. That's what happened. So
Yes.
you can lick some frosting
Oh,
when you buy a cake from Jess. There you go. That's how that happened.
yes.
All right, we'll pretend that's what I meant from the very beginning. I was watching an episode of Match Game with Alec Baldwin, and he comes out and he all of a sudden he looks at like the celebrity contestants or whatever, and he's like, "I fucked that entrance up," and he's like, "All right," and I'm like,
Nice. Just
yes,
be honest about it.
right? Like you're at a certain level when you can say whatever you want, like he can,
That is true. Yeah,
right?
you're not going to get fired after, after the biggest mess up some of these people.
Right, for real. So funny. All right, guys, this has been an hour of Crazy Bitches Talk Show. And Alfred said, that's what she said. Look up Alfred's company, Collab Skateboards, and make
Yes.
sure you look up Sweet Discovery. Thanks by fucking Jess, because I can't.
Fucking Jess.
Fucking Jess. I love you. Thank you, everybody, for being here with us on Tits Tuesday. And we'll see you cunts next time.
I
Happy
love that.
and we'll see you
Bye.
next time. Bye, everybody.